I don't know why I'm nervous. This is probably just for me. I have like stuff that I wrote on here that maybe I'll follow. Hi, I'm Sammy. I'm 22 years old. I am in my childhood bedroom that I live in right now because I live at home. And for the most part, it has not changed in 5 years. And when I move back home, the thing that is going to stay when I, take all these posters and I change them is this Dodie poster. Please hold. I have been a Dodie fan for a very long time. I'm a senior in college. I'm getting my degree in film. I have not filmed a YouTube video since I think I was in middle school. I'm honestly not entirely sure what this video is going to be about. Basically, what prompted this video is that Dodie is releasing their second album tomorrow. And I'm going to try not to sound like a parasocial freak in this video, but also this video is about how being a fangirl has kind of changed my life. So unfortunately, I fear that's kind of unavoidable, but know that I do not behave this way. I started listening to Dodie a little over 8 years ago. A few weeks ago, Eden and I had the insane luck of both being invited to a listening party for Dodie's new album. I don't know how we both got picked because I think 200 people applied and only like 20 people got picked, and the both of us did. That night really was a kind of reminder for me of how much Dodie's music has genuinely changed my life. I may be speaking a little bit hyperbolically, but I truly believe that my life would be so much different if I had not found Dodie's music. Being 15 is an interesting time for everybody, especially if you are queer. Around this time, I had also joined Stan Twitter and Stan Instagram, which is interesting. We've all been there. There was something so specific about Dodie, Stan, Twitter, and Instagram. At the beginning of college, I would have considered it more embarrassing, but now I just have a lot of sympathy for my younger self who was really just trying to find a community, which, we'll get back to later. I had remembered scrolling through Instagram, or maybe she announced it on YouTube, that she was going on tour. I, at the time, had never really been to my own concerts. I think I had been to my first 2 concerts that were, of artists that I listened to and not, going with my family, only the year prior, which was Panic! At the Disco opening for Weezer and 21 Pilots. Speaking of Panic! At the Disco, if you know anything about Panic! At the Disco around, 2017, 2018, you know what the Hearts were. Fan projects have obviously existed for forever, but the Hearts were one of the first examples that I had been exposed to of a fan project existing throughout the entirety of a tour. I decided to start a similar fan project for Dodie called Daisies for Dodie. The Instagram page is still up. You could totally still find it. I think there's a fucking Wix website that I made about it too, which is crazy. I don't even have a website up for my own portfolio, and I'm working as an artist right now. Basically, the fan project was I had a bunch of people, volunteers, filled out a little Google form, cut out paper that's colored in pink, purple, and blue for the bisexual flag, and they would cut out these daisies onto the different color sheets of paper, and then when you go to the concert, you put your phone flashlight through the paper during a specific song, and it makes the audience illuminate in whatever color you had people cut the daisies out onto. Honestly, I don't know how I pulled this off. Maybe it's just because you have so much free time when you're 15. I went to the New York show, and I think there were a couple shows before the New York show, so I was experiencing the fan project for the first time through only pictures of what other people were sending me. And then it came time for my show. I had cut out so many daisies. I had my parents drive. This was also the first time I had met Tessa. Hey girl, this picture's crazy. I look like a minion. Obviously Dodie is my favorite artist. This was the first time I was seeing her live. I was losing my damn mind. This concert was awesome. I was front row at a venue that has become one of my favorite venues that I've been to at a million times now, and I've worked shows there now, which is crazy. Dodie at the time had been posting tour vlogs in nearly every single city and had mentioned the fan project. What I did not expect to get out of this concert and fan project experience is the messages that I would get from people. I, being 15 and experiencing community with queer people for the first time in my life, was special in and of itself, But to have people talk about the fact that this fan project, which is so tiny and minuscule in the grand scheme of things, that even contributed a single % more to the amount of community that was found that night.
And honestly, like, nothing could compare. I might cry talking about it, because like, the song is about feeling so much shame, and so to see so many people together collectively celebrating how wonderful it is just, I mean, I don't know, I just had goosebumps the entire song.
At that time, I don't think I was out as bi. I came out as bi first. I'm a lesbian now, and I definitely did not have any sense of like transness or even knowledge of what being non-binary was. Talking to people in person, when so much of this has only been through a screen, it really kind of opened my eyes to how special that was. A lot of my friends have also expressed this feeling of like going to see an artist and somehow getting more obsessed with them after the concert happens, but that is definitely what happened after I went to the Dodie show. What I have here is very important to me. What I'm holding is a file folder containing all of the pre-production, if you could even call it that, to the first kind of creative film I had ever done. After the Dodie show, I had decided to make a stop motion to the song Human. This was the first time that I kind of had the idea or the desire to pursue art. Long story short, my singular dream in life was to become a pastry chef. I had loved baking since I was little. I was a Food Network kid for sure. And I wanted to go to pastry school. I wanted to be a pastry chef. And I knew from being 4 years old that that's what I wanted to do with my life. When I was 13, 14, I got diagnosed with celiac. At the time, that was a huge letdown. Like, it crushed me, which doesn't seem like a big deal when you're 14, but also everything is a big deal when you're 14, especially when the one thing that I found the most joy in, I knew was never going to happen for me. So this was a big turning point in my life. I honestly really envy the artist I was at this time, because there was no voice in the back of my head telling me that what I was making could be bad and that would have any effect on my life. There was no one outside my immediate circle of people that I thought could ever have anything bad to say about it, because why would they? I'm making something cool and I care about it, and that had to be enough, which I am trying to find that part of myself again. I handwrote out the lyrics. I spent an entire weekend turning my dad's office into a studio, and I cranked this out. Like, I cannot believe I kept this, and I'm so happy that I did. Yeah, I give myself so much credit back then for doing that. I had uploaded the stop motion to YouTube, and I think it had been up for a couple days. I remember getting on the bus after school one day, opening YouTube, and seeing Dodie in my comments. I actually opened Snapchat, and it was 7 years ago yesterday. That is crazy. There were a lot of like very kind comments. I think Dodie retweeted it, and that got like helped it get way more views than I was expecting it to. I think it has like 5,000 views, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot, but to a 15-year-old who like made their first film, that was insane to me. And to have the person who was like the most inspiring figure in my life at that point kind of reinforce the idea that this was good, that I made something that was worth seeing, was... I cannot overstate how encouraging this was. After this, I had like started getting really into movies, but I'd started taking communication classes in high school. I started, coming up with like all these screenplay ideas. I had an incredible teacher who encouraged me from the very beginning. Shout out Mr. Sheedy. I am like truly indebted to him. A year later, it's like 2019, Dodie announced another tour. New York show was on a weeknight, and the Boston show was, I think, on a Friday or Saturday. The fan project was still going at this time. Daisies had been passed out for 2 tours now, which is crazy that I kept up with it. I think it was like March or April of 2020 when someone on Twitter like made a tweet being like, hey, I'm gonna host a Zoom for people on Dodie Stan Twitter. Everybody join. This like fully catapulted me into like Dodie stan Twitter. But at that point, it wasn't even really about Dodie. It was about these people that I just become friends with. We would host Zooms like once every like 2 or 3 weeks where everyone would join. We'd be on there for hours. Basically, this is when I became really good friends with Christy, Carrie, Autumn, Moon, Josh. They became such a support system in my life. I'm so grateful for them. I have met all of them now, which is crazy. I've stayed at Christy's house in London. Like, I've been to Autumn's dorm. Internet is crazy. I ended up writing my college essay, like the main essay that you submit to universities when you apply to study there. I wrote about Dodie's music and about the community that I had found within this fan project and around fandom spaces online. Honestly, like a majority of the important people in my life now, I would not have met through some like trickle-down effect of listening to Dodie's music. Elodie, my partner, who I've been with for 3 years, I would not have known if I didn't listen to Dodie's music in middle school, and if they didn't listen to Dodie's music in middle school. One of my favorite concerts that I've been to was when Dodie played at the King's Theater in Brooklyn in 2022, I think. That's where I met my dear friend Reese, who I love and I miss so much. She lives in Australia right now. She's honestly part of the reason why I'm making this video, because she's like a little YouTube queen and I love watching her videos so much. I met Eden for the first time. I was a freshman in college. Freshman year was a real interesting time for me. It was just so special. It felt like such a full circle moment because like I was in university, like I was studying film. It was the thing that I wanted to do because of the stop motion that I made because of Dodie, and it feels even more full circle that I got to go to this listening party. And I was rewatching older Dodie videos. I think one of the ones that I watched was like the reacting to my 20-year-old self video. Dodie talks about like, have you met Demi Lovato? And Dodie was like, you acted like an idiot talking about themselves, but it was fine because you got to say everything that you rehearsed in your head. And that is exactly how I felt after this listening party. The entire time I was at the listening party, like I felt so emotional, and I did end up crying later, but I could not stop smiling because it just like my 14-year-old self was living out their biggest dream of like getting to talk to Dodie and say everything that I had planned in my head that I would say when I met them. And again, it feels really full circle because I'm graduating film school this semester. And Dodie's coming out with a new album tomorrow. And I am at such a different place in my life, obviously, than when Built a Problem came out. I've had a weird relationship with art and making things this past year. I am really working to get back to where I was freshman year of high school when I made that video, when I was making art because I loved it so much and didn't feel as much pressure, didn't have, the fear of making bad art and that other people would see it and think that I'm a bad artist because I made bad art. In other ways, like, I think I've really grown. These past couple years, I've been really lucky to work as a concert photographer, which for the longest time is something that I thought was unattainable. Like, I did not even dare to dream of being a concert photographer. But now I have worked with artists that mean so much to me. I've shot Orla's show in the past, which was amazing and incredible, and I can't believe I saw her live after listening to her for like 8 years. Yeah, I think there was a point in my life where I was embarrassed for liking things so publicly, but honestly, I'm so grateful to my younger self, and having not been in those spaces, I wouldn't be pursuing art. I would not be in film school. I would not be working as a concert photographer. There aren't many artists that I put on a pedestal the way that I did when I was like 15, because I think working in the industry, even with like the little experience that I do have, makes you realize that these are all people doing the same thing that you're doing. They're trying to make it and make art that people resonate with. And like one of the coolest parts of going to the listening party was like, obviously I don't know them personally, but like it was a very humanizing moment, realizing that we were also just two people that could connect because of music. If for some reason, Dodie, you are watching this, thank you. It is my dream to photograph your concert to any of like my old internet friends or new ones or current friends. Like, I'm so lucky that so many of the people in my life right now I know because of Dodie's music. I don't think there'll be a day where I do not resonate with Dodie's music or where I won't buy tickets to see them in concert, and I feel very grateful for that. It's kind of crazy to think about the fact that I'm the same age that Dodie was when I found their YouTube channel. Obviously, becoming famous from YouTube and music is like a 1 in a million chance, but you should make art and you should be proud of the art that you make and of the art that you like, because sometimes it can change your life.
Take a look at the clock, only so long to go. Scrubbing smooth the young skin, sing I don't know. Grab a bag, grab a bottle,